Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the joinDOTA MLG Premier League. We are going to be having ourselves just one series tonight. It is going to be between Alliance and Balkan Bears Corleone, also known as BBC. What a wonderful acronym to give your team. What a wonderful acronym.
British Broadcasting Corporation?
Yes,
there's nothing else it could stand for, right?
Absolutely nothing whatsoever. So, we're going to be jumping into this two-game series. If you guys don't know how the joinDOTA League works, understandable. Maybe you haven't played it yourself. You definitely should try. But the MLG, the joinDOTA edition with MLG, basically there's a lot more money on the prize. So maybe this is the first time you're tuning in. Completely understandable. The joinDOTA League works in two-game series. Most league systems, right, you want to try and do like as fast as humanly possible, but you also can't do best of ones, right? Because best of ones is just kind of crappy to do. So best of threes would be too many games for the teams to handle. Every single week having to arrange all that. So just a two-game series, 2 games, you're all good. So let's jump into it, shall we? Alliance versus Balkan Bears Corleone. I was going over this. The stats of both teams earlier, Durka. And
Alliance are what, 1-1, and BBC haven't played yet. What, in the league, you mean?
Oh, no, I wasn't actually talking about the league. I was actually talking about some of their picks. And some interesting things came up. Most notably, I saw recently that we had game sounds a little loud. That we had Balkan Bears. Well, first of all, a lot of disruptor pickup. I think 6 out of the last 10 of their games all have a disruptor in it. So that seems to be a key support hero for them. While Alliance, I was talking to Pikecat a little bit beforehand. Seems like Scrims are doing pretty well. He feels a lot more confident in the team ever since they added Nikwa to the offlane. And they also have some interesting picks. They most notably picked up like a Sven, which is a hero that I think is super viable right now, considering the heavy amount of physical damage that a lot of people are running. I think Sven's, his call, I don't remember what that's called, but Warcry, thank you.
Yeah, Toby and I were casting that game, and when the Sven pick came up, it was like 3rd pick by them, and I just had this flash in my brain thinking, is that Solomid Sven? Because I know S4 played around with it back in the old Alliance days.
10 seconds remaining.
This really great hero that just runs at people. And Pikecat played that mid last time, and it worked really well for them. They had EGM on Leshrak, which is another hero that they've been toying with, it seems.
Yeah, I actually asked Pikecat about that. I was like, so do you guys swap around the one position a whole lot? Because I feel like I'm just like this. Since Alliance has kind of changed up their roster so many times, I feel like they're a bit of an unknown team, right? I haven't been able to watch so many of their recent games, and in general, there just aren't that many to watch.
10 seconds,
so
10 seconds remaining.
He said that, he just in that game, he kind of had to be the playmaker.
Remaining.
But it seems like, Loaded pretty much stuck on the one position. Pikehat's going to be playing that mid-roll. For the most part. Nikwa seems to be doing quite well in the offlane. I'm not sure about that series, if he shined or not, but...
Well, they're picking him Bristleback, and he just turns things around. Like, that hero in itself, when I saw these bans come out from BBC, the Wisp and the Jug, you kind of expect them. They are the meta bans right now. You ban out Axe, Troll, Wisp, and Jug. They're great at dominating lanes early, but also hitting that, 10-minute timing, where all of a sudden they're out of the game, destroying things.
Right.
But that leaves, especially teams like Alliance, to pick up things like Chen for Ake, Bristleback for Nikwa, and the entire pool is still open. So even though you think, okay, we've banned out these really strong heroes that everyone's playing, there's still a lot of picks that Alliance have up their sleeves.
Now, what do you think about this early Timbersaw pick? It seems like BBC, that's going to be their best way to deal with the Bristleback. Timbersaw pretty effective versus that hero. A lot of pure damage. The strength, taking away the strength attribute as well. Makes Bristleback considerably less tankier.
I did the same thing as you before the last time we cast BBC, and Timbersaw seemed to be one of those picks that they just like to take. It seems to be one of their players, I can't remember who it is, but one of their specialty heroes. So I'm not sure if it's specifically up against that Bristleback, or if it's because, you know, someone just loves that hero.
Yeah. In the mid game, it's definitely good. You don't want to be facing a 1v1 situation necessarily, because the low starting armor of Timbersaw can be a bit of a predicament, depending on what this situation is. But second set of bans coming out here. We do have the Witch Doctor and Ancient Apparition going to be banned away by Alliance. Understandable, the Ancient Apparition one, especially when you already have a Chen and then a tankier hero like Bristleback. The Ice Blast could be pretty devastating. The Storm Spirit and Lion banned away by BBC. Some of those bitter controlling heroes, and the mobility of Storm Spirit is pretty tough to deal with their first 1-2 pickup. Timbersaw has no control and has high amount of mobility, but not as much as a Storm. And then of course the Vengeful Spirit's Magic Missile stun is your best hope of controlling the Storm Spirit, and of course he's able to just easily disjoint that. So Leshrac for the Alliance, while Earthshaker is going to be picked up by Balkan Bears.
I love that ES pick. It's such a great defensive support. You don't really have to have him stacking or pulling. He's not harassing support, but he can sit mid lane or behind the off lane and just stop any aggression that Alliance want to pull, especially when there's a Chen on the field. I was talking to Rise when they were playing in the Dragon Battle the other day, and when the enemy picked up Venge and Lion, you sort of assume, okay, they're going to be roaming at some point in the game. They're going to smoke up and hunt down your mid laner. With an Earthshaker anywhere on the map, pretty much he can just TP to a tower, Fisher, and that gang is completely stopped. So wasting the smoke, wasting time from the supports, who are both pretty level dependent. But when you're looking at Chen and Leshrac, it's the same kind of story. If they try to make a move, and that Earthshaker's waiting, it's a big waste of time.
It's quite interesting though, the Leshrac being, I'm presuming, the mid position here. Pycat has played it in the past. He plays a really good Leshrac, so I guess it's going to be a mid Leshrac. I mean, that was kind of the assumption that it was going to be a core, because I feel like Leshrac as just like a raw support by himself is very odd, right? You kind of always want some sort of setup stun for him, so felt like he was going to be core anyway, but this kind of ensures it. The Rubik pickup. But the Broodmother as a fourth pickup here, Balkan Bears Corleone, feeling like is the Broodmother really a good choice here? I mean, you still have a fair amount of AoE on Alliance, and they don't even have their fifth pick yet. Bristleback as well as Leshrac, two cores that could easily deal with the Broodmother.
Early in the game, though, Alliance are going to have really weak lanes. So the safe lane is going to be -1 because of the Chen, and he can't really offer anything to deal with the Broodmother. So it's going to be down to the Rubik and the carry, whoever that's going to be. I don't know if they'll put Bristleback in the one role. But the fifth pick, like, what can you take here to actually deal with Brood on the lane?
Right.
In a 1v2 scenario, especially.
Yeah. I can understand that. Blitz and I were recently having a nice long discussion about Broodmother, and it was in one of the recent DAC games where I felt like Broodmother was an interesting pick, but not really like strong enough, because the enemy team had like SF, and then they had another hero in lane that was really good at dealing with Broodmother. So like the laning phase, I felt like, okay, they kind of had to address the Broodmother from there, and then eventually, like when you want to rotate, oh, it's Tidehunter. That's right, Tidehunter's like the best hero against Broodmother, like straight up, like between Kraken Shell and Anchor Smash, you're literally taking no damage. So, and you easily clean up big AoEs with the big spider stacks with that AoE. So, okay, all right, definitely got quite interesting, but the Legion Commander, as you said, is another great hero versus the Broodmother. Good AoE, more damage out of the more spiders that are there. On top of that, a big, long disable to hold that Broodmother there when you're able to catch her out. That's pretty important.
You set up pretty well for the Lesh stun, but how are we looking at lanes here for Alliance? Are they going to put the Rubik and Bristle on that off lane? And go aggressive into BBC? Because you want to try and match up that Legion against Broodmother 1v1,
10 seconds remaining.
Right away, how effective
5 seconds remaining.
It actually is from the very beginning, like for those first like 3 or 4 levels.
With Stout Shield and like 2 sets of tankers, she's fine.
Right. Okay.
And then you go for your AoE nuke. You can clear down those spiders. You can push the creep wave out. So she's pretty good overall.
Okay, so then you still have the Leshrac mid, and then the Rubik babysitting the Bristleback, making sure he gets a good amount of farm. Now, what about the Timbersaw at this point? Because if the Broodmother's going to the off lane, do we have a mid Timbersaw? I'm not sure if that's any good, because it would be good if you know you're going 1v1 up against a melee. It's something that we've seen before, right? When Broodmaster was picked up a lot, you occasionally see Timbersaw run against him. Sure, that's acceptable. Melee versus melee, the enemy's a strength hero, Whirling Death is pretty powerful, but up against a ranged hero, especially a heavy nuker like Leshrac, I'm not quite so confident that this is going to be a rosy lane for Timbersaw.
I know sort of tier 2, tier 3 teams, he comes to mind, have tried Broodmother mid. You can get webs down and control runes really easily, but it's such a squishy hero, and one sentry, one dust, so susceptible to getting ganked.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to take advantage of those long lanes. That way you're able to abuse the fact that the supports can only get so many counters in the beginning of the game. Of course, I feel like one thing that really plays against Broodmother, I suppose the bounty rune is good for the Broodmother as time goes on, but that's pretty bad, because it means that it takes that injunction of gold for the supports to get that next set of awards. It's something that you see a lot of teams going in with one support going in for boots solely because they can get the bounty rune and get their counters right away if they want to. Templar Assassin, though, is going to be picked up by BBC. That should be their mid and a safe lane farming Timbersaw, or what, Durka? I mean, do you really want Templar Assassin against Leshrac with Diabolic Edict? Templar, I think you're still going to be fine because you're next to creeps. But eventually, Diabolic Edict will be exceptionally good versus Refraction. Maybe not so much in lane, but
especially if Chen comes in with like a Dark Troll or something, finds you without a creep wave, then things can get nasty pretty quick. I don't know. We'll have to see what they actually pull out here. We could just see the Timbersaw going mid, but it doesn't look like it, judging by that TA's item set. Pool tangos, 2 branches, bottle rush on the cards.
All right, guys, getting into our first game of this 2-game series between BBC, Balkan Bears, Corleone, and Alliance. The new Alliance that did have many different roster changes. We got to start off here. Alliance going to be having Nikwa, the traditional offlaner here for Alliance on the Legion Commander. Loda's going to be playing the Bristleback, so maybe a one-position Bristleback for this game. Pycat, of course, on the Leshrac, presuming mid. We have Chen, Ake, of course, and EGM rounding out with that Leshrac. And, of course, a big shout-out to our staff man, joinDOTA, who's going to be joining us for this series as well. He had a very fortunate class cancellation that allowed him to be here. On the side of BBC, the interesting thing of what their lanes are going to be, we got Levi on the Vengeful Spirit, Yapzor on that Earthshaker, Perino on the Broodmother, which is going to be safe lane here.
Yeah, they've spotted the aggressive Tri-lane I was talking about earlier, put the Bristol Rubik and then aggressive jungle Chen on the spot to go up against the Tri-lane of BBC.
Right.
Because Brood already placed a web up there. That was pinged out by Alliance, so they've switched it up and send the Legion top just to counter out these lanes.
Man, that was a large amount of damage there. The Timbersaw does manage to claim that bounty rune, but loses about half his health in the process. So Timbersaw going up against Legion Commander to 1v1. I don't know, Durka, do you think this is favorable lanes here for BBC? Do you think they've addressed the aggro try appropriately?
Definitely. I mean, these are the lanes they... Well, more importantly, these are the lanes that Alliance don't want.
Right.
Because they want the Legion against the Brood, and then they want their aggro try up against that Timbersaw.
So in which case, these supports, I mean, how much attention do you put into this bottom lane? Nice start off. Levi blocks out the camp that Ake was going to be gunning for to get that early hard creep, and is now going to be chased out of the jungle entirely here. As you can see, Ake is actually quite low.
He might die here. Earthshaker's on the way with a Fissure.
Oh, maybe. Yapzor, long-range Fissure, and a couple of hits. He does get the block off, and now Levi, one more hit, and he's got the first blood. Now Levi's going to try and get out of here. He does at least 5 boots, so even if Loda does get the return kill here, which he probably will.
Wasting so much time. He's going to miss this full, like, wave and a half of creeps.
He actually may not give it. He may run out of mana here. This last Quill Spray isn't going to be enough, and now he's out of mana.
No!
He can't even do that.
Tragic for Alliance there.
It really is, and BBC off to a great start.
So now Chen has basically been forced back into his own jungle, and Bristleback is down on the spot lane with no mana up against a Broodmother and 2 pretty good supports locking him down.
So, going back to, do the supports stick around in this bottom lane? I mean, you don't want to be soaking too much experience away from a Broodmother, so do you think they should just be kind of like dedicated roaming? Sure, they're bottom sometimes to deal with the Chen, but they roam to middle and possibly even top just to put pressure around the map since they're not really needed, right? You've got 3 pretty solid solos.
I think one of them just stacks and pulls. Like, constantly stacks and pulls, because there's very little chance that Alliance gets into this Radiant jungle, wards or contests. It looks like that's what the Earthshaker's going to be doing. Then, at some point, when one of them gets a smoke, they can head towards mid, look for a kill on that Leshrac, because he is pretty squishy. 600 HP, 4 armor, 1 Melt Strike, and he's pretty much dead.
And then at the top lane, this lane is quite nice. I'm a bit surprised that Masakari here didn't go for the extra level and Whirling Death, but went for the safer reactive armor build. Maybe the Legion Commander, Neek, was really trying to harass the Timbersaw out of lane, but I mean, any melee versus melee matchup, Whirling Death is going to be quite favorable for you, especially if that hero is a strength. So, made all the better by that.
In fact, it looks like the Radiant might want to go for a couple of early kills on this bot lane first. Signals are coming out from the Earthshaker and Venge. Let's go and take a kill. Kill EGM. 385 HP, 1 Fissure from long range, and you've got a level 3 Broodmother. Level 2 in Spawn Spiderlings, 150 nuke damage from range.
Yeah, and they know that the Chen isn't going to be there, right? So it's not going to be a fair fight. It's going to be 2 versus 3. Solely because, I mean, when you try and run an aggro Chen like that, Chen is not a hero that can afford to be shut out in the laning phase, right? He can't afford to go, like, once he goes aggro try and he's shut down there, he immediately has to go to his own jungle. That's why oftentimes you see Chen so willing to give up on their own jungle if it's in being invaded or there's lots of wards, because they can't afford to really be slowed down like that. They're very much a faster tempo hero than most junglers. Enigma can afford to be stalled up because he's amazing in the mid to late game, and Chen will significantly drop off as you start going later in the mid game.
Yeah, especially depending on his item build, because we're starting to see people go Arcane straight into Aghanims and let other heroes go mech, which might be the job for this Bristleback. I'm not too sure what route Loader will be going on this guy, but I think Arcane might even now, 2 minutes into the game, have to look forward to 30, 40 minutes into the game. Just the way this is going, because...
So what's a more late game oriented build for a Chen as opposed to a more early game build?
So you're looking at Aghanims, Vlads, things like that. Buff up your team a bit more rather than going for the Arcane's mech. Maybe even Hex or Necro. Like, Necro Chen is really strong.
Okay. Alright, so once we're done with the lagging issues, Timbersaw's got to be careful of Ake's rotations. Now, Ake does still have a smoke in his inventory, so... as you were talking about earlier, the potential for going for the Templar Assassin. Now, our mid matchup, the Leshrac. Now, I would normally consider mid Leshrac to prioritize Lightning. I would say 9 times out of 10. I feel like Lightning is really underrated, but obviously this specific matchup is where you want Diabolic Edict when you're going up against the Templar Assassin, so you can rip through that refraction all the faster.
Yeah, TA is a hero that will be looking to dive the Leshrac at any given moment, so just having that Edict available when you're away from the creep wave and the TA's near your tower just to turn things around, definitely a valuable skill to have.
Look how low EGM gets.
Was that just from 1 Spawn Spiderlings?
Yeah, that was just from a couple of harassment hits. Broodmother hit him, and the Spiderlings kind of chased after him, and that was pretty much it.
And Bristle expending a lot of mana here, but not doing too much. Just trying to spam out Cool Spray, but it's only level 1. You need to get a good, 4 or 5 stacks up maybe onto these spiders to take them down, because they've got pretty high HP and straight onto Loader there. Look at that.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely a lane you have to have mana. Bristleback as an offlaner, like, I think you're in one of those scenarios where you only have 1 shot really to go for a kill because it takes you so long to get all the mana back up required in order to get these kills. So I feel like this is a lane where he has to have mana, but he expended it all so early, so at that point, what do you do? Do you go an early bottle and just try and recover from there, try and get the 4-minute rune, the bottom and 6-minute bottom runes in order to keep up that regen? Like, I don't really know how you threaten this Broodmother. Not even just the hero, but the Spiderlings.
I think EGM's move there is indicative of pretty much the story you're telling. Let's just leave Loader down there, get the bottle, get some kind of regen, don't die. Like, his job now is not to farm and be 1-roll, but it's to survive.
Right.
Keep the Broodmother at bay, defend this tier 1 tower, and then maybe Chen and the Rubik can go and find something elsewhere.
So a lot more pressure on Nikwa then to perform. We've got Pycat, who does have some help coming in. Looks like he may be going for, now this is a potential build, a 1-2-4 build where you go lightning a little bit later. We do have the rotation coming in from behind. They're going to catch out the Templar Assassin. Diabolic Edict ripping through that refraction pretty quickly in a very simple, clean-cut kill. As Alliance make the best out of a bad scenario, but Loda in the background is going to be going down. The bottom lane, he gets caught out by Levi's rotation, and they do at least make a trade-off, a core for a core.
I'm not sure how big that Bristle kill was. He got boots, so he managed to spend his gold, but again, he's going to be returning to that bot lane with no mana regen whatsoever. And then Pycat at mid, heading towards level 6, starting to level up that lightning. So after the 2 points in Edict, going back for the nuke.
Yeah, I really like this build because you still have the... this build also works if you're not going up against Templar Assassin. Right, because this build actually, the 2 levels in Diabolic Edict gives you enough to really threaten towers, and if the enemy hero leaves lane, much like any sort of AFK mid laner, like Sniper, any of those heroes, you push down that middle tower, and as soon as they leave, you're able to kind of take it. Well, Diabolic Edict still gives you that potential, and at the same time, especially since you don't get Pulse Nova at level 6, you can still have your lightning
resist attacking Radiant's top tower.
And you don't need your maxed out stun, because as long as you have a setup stun, in this case the Leshrac, you don't really need to increase the AoE or damage that much.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about this TA though? Going for treads? Usually we see fades into drums, then Yasha.
Race car build is what we usually see, but...
An interesting choice to go for the treads.
I guess he feels like he has to be, like he's the hard... Whoa, Timbersaw getting quite low, makes a jump, but is going to be caught out still. Does end up going down, 2-2, as Alliance even up the scoreboard. But yeah, going back to the treads build, I would say this is more indicative of like a hard carry Templar Assassin, because if you look at the heroes from the side of BBC, they don't have a real true carry. Right, so Templar Assassin has to fulfill that role now. Templar Assassin's turning to
the Radiant must summon the spirit to defend the top tower.
Melt through that. No. He even went for the point in Pulse Nova. Turning on Edict and Pulse Nova, the TA just thought, oh, I'll hide here. Nope.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Loda's bought himself Clarities. Used 1 already. He bought 2 Clarities to come down in his bot lane.
Wow, that's very, very odd. I mean, the problem is when you use, say you use 70 mana, right, for the first 2 quills, I don't think you even kill any Spiderlings just off of that.
No.
You do threaten them, but all the Brood Mother has to do is pull them back. Right, so you lose your Spider army for a little while, but who really cares? Levi does grab an Invis rune, and is going to be kind of tracing Pycat on his way back to base. But other than that, BBC are faring pretty well. But I would say this is definitely expected, right? They kind of should be doing well in the late phase and definitely have to be doing well in the mid game because they don't have a real carry. And again,
Dire's middle tower
that was a good jump away, but Ake is already there to try and stop him. And sure enough, the Timbersaw will be caught by the duel, and
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This similar situation for our offlaners. The Bristleback also falls right after the Timbersaw.
But this ties into what you're saying again. Killing the Bristleback isn't like be-all or end-all. Alliance still have more cores to rely on. Like the Leshrac will be doing things mid-game with the Legion Commander, who will have a really quick dagger being the safe lane farmer. Whereas BBC will rely on Broodmother sitting on a lane and split pushing, while Timbersaw and TA have to do the heavy work.
The push-in from Pycat has begun. If the Templar Assassin... Now, if we're going treads here, right, and it kind of showcases, hold up, middle lane, Pycat is going to be caught out here. The Fisher block, well-timed, but still, you can see how quickly the Templar
is under attack.
Diabolic Edict, lasting after the death, ensures the kill.
He was close to a double kill there as well. He had the animation from Lightning, but just got taken down before he could cast it. If that had bounced onto Earthshaker, easy 2 kills for Pycat there. Smoke up again from the Dire supports. EGM with very little mana though. Not sure what they intend to accomplish. Oh, they've got Arcanes on Ake, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think they kind of know that they have to make a lot of work happen right now, because if they clear enough room for their cores can just carry them through the mid-game, right? Especially like the Legion Commander. Once you get that Blink Dagger, the pressure is no longer on you as the support to set up these kills. We do have an attempted gank on the Broodmother. It is spotted out by these Broodlings. So we can see Loda is going to be trying to go for the kill here. Padrino is low, and if he gets hit by too many of these quills, he will end up falling, but he can't seem to get over the trees. Juan does help him out, but he keeps on running back into him. Throws out spawn Spiderlings onto Ake.
The Centaur micro.
Oh, good God. 2 heroes down, and now a further teleport in. YapzOr still goes for it, but that's not going to be enough to hit the Chen. Now Echo Slam laid out, but it's still not enough damage. EGM returns the Echo Slam favor onto YapzOr. Of course, no stun coming out, and he will get the kill. YapzOr now trying to slow up Lota, who doesn't have any mana, so he should be fine. Turns out that TP was perfectly acceptable for our Earthshaker.
What did Arcade do? Creeps?
I didn't even notice he died. Yeah, he died to creeps. He had to have died to creeps. It's the only way he dies.
Or spiderlings were chasing? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But the creeps seem to be the ones that laid the killing blow there, so.
So they get the Brood and they get the Venge. They almost get the Earthshaker. But Lota, once again, on this bot lane with no mana and no HP. Chen returning his creeps all the way back to base.
One spider.
It was one spider.
One spider. Too much to handle.
Oh, EGM has it. The skill of all skills.
Oh.
Gonna make his own spider army.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those abilities that can actually allow Rubik to farm pretty quickly if you get some dedicated time. I'm not sure if he really... Again, I feel like the supports, there's a lot of pressure on these supports to make as much room as possible because, again, if they can just get that Blink Dagger up on the Legion Commander while still keeping BBC relatively low, they could just easily snowball off of that.
What do you expect to see from the Timbersaw? Straight up Bloodstone, or do you look for a Blink early on?
I would say Bloodstone. I would just be a bit afraid of the Leshrac and Legion Commander at this
cover
point.
your eyes! Dire's bottom tower is
they're
taking a
big
whether
time
accidentally or on purpose. Radiant structures have been fortified.
So I would be concerned. I would just try and tank up as much
Radiant's
as possible.
middle
Of course,
tower
Bloodstone
has
is
fallen.
a natural build-up for Timbersaw, which does slow down your effectiveness, right? Bloodstone's a pretty expensive item, especially for an offlaner to get as his first item. Mid, we do have Pycat caught out. One more hit, and they'll get it too. Swap just to make sure that he does die, and backing out. Yeah, as his card shows out, you can see the number of times that Bloodstone has pretty much always been picked up first, but occasionally there are the Timbersaws who do go for a Blink Dagger first
is under attack
when it's necessary. Slow down Nikwa, maybe caught out here. Sure enough, the Fisher will stun him up, and they're going to slow him down to a point where Nikwa has no hope of escaping. Very bold maneuver, I would say, from Nikwa to be that far forward, not really expecting those kind of rotations, but he can't afford to be in that position because he just lost his Blink Dagger, essentially.
Yeah, he was a couple of hundred gold away from it. Walking in there, I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish. Maybe he thought with Arke behind him, he could get sent back to base, maybe after getting a quick cheeky kill on Earthshaker or someone like that.
These heroes, I mean, these are heroes that can definitely be punished heavily by a Legion Commander. I mean, the Broodmother, easy counter, right? She's a hero that just sits in her lane, is very susceptible to really good ganking skills like Duel. And then on top of that, we talked about how overwhelming odds is made better by all those Broodmothers. But then you have, like, Timbersaw, sits AFK, farming up one lane until he has a Bloodstone, maybe even a secondary item. So he's very immobile, doesn't really, like, despite the mobility of the hero, his meta is usually set around him farming up quite a bit compared to traditional offlaners. And then you got the Templar Assassin, who's choosing not to go for a very mid-game build at all.
Structures have been fortified.
Treads into Midas. Timbersaw jumping in is going to be grabbing EGM and doing a good amount of work to him. Now we do have the extra help, but seems like the damage too much. Echo to finish him off. And they get that one kill, and I'm not sure about chasing Nikwa. Probably a bit too far, but
Radiant's bottom tower
at the same time, it is always a trade-off here. Alliance do claim the bottom tier 1 tower.
Yeah, they're stopping the effectiveness of this Brood, taking that tier 1, just camping in this lane now, and this is not what Brood wants. She wants to be sitting there, farming her own jungle, pushing the lane out, and she doesn't want to be contesting against all these Chen creeps. Look at that.
Oh dear. Timbersaw going to be blown up here. Even if he could get the chains off, they still had some AoE to be able to chase him down, so not gonna happen here, and I'm not sure what this situation is, but we do have our Broodmother and Bristleback fighting in the rune area. Like a rune is about to spawn, but it's at 13 minutes and not 14.
Lotus has been running up and down this river for the past minute or so, spamming Cool Spray. He's got his treads on int now, though. He had them on strength for the first couple of goes. I'm happy to see he's switching them up.
It looks like he's going to be going for like a fast Blade Mail build. Now, normally I hate Blade Mail as an early item, unlike
not
pretty much always. because, like, on Axe, I don't feel like you're actually going to get that much reflect damage back to people early on. I usually almost always want to see a stat item first. That being said, how many items can Bristleback really go early on that give you some extra intelligence?
What is the win rate of a TA with Midas in 6.83? 64.7.
I would say it's either very high or very low, because I don't think we've seen too many TA minuses in 6.83. I mean, we just don't see that much TA. And if we do see it, I've seen at least a lot more race car build, face boots. And so it's either, I would say it's either very high or very low.
But you usually only go Midas on TA when you're really far ahead. Oh, I wasn't far off, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Radiant structures are fortified.
More
Radiant must summon the spirit to defend the top tower.
Gets the tower too.
Radiant's top tower
So speaking
has
of
fallen.
Bloodstones, he's now got his vitality booster. And he is just another 800
Sometimes
gold away
the
from that
winds of
Bloodstone
war
finish up.
bear
Courier
away
pick off
even
there,
innocent souls.
as that
Such
was
as
the
Dyer's
Dire
courier.
Where she is now, pretty much, yep.
What was the Courier doing there? I mean,
Delivering to Ake something?
yeah, just again.
Must have been observers, I don't know.
Just the rule of couriers, right? Don't ever put them in broodmother webs.
Yep.
That just sounds like a bad idea in general. We do have all this aggression happening here, and apparently Levi isn't really expecting it. He just rambos on in, sees it, but still going to be caught out. The duel manages to hold them in place. They get that kill at the same time the broodmother does get EGM, so they still get a pickoff for a pickoff there. And they also will eventually counter that ward.
Yes, with a 14-minute blink dagger. That's pretty huge.
Oh, yeah, that is so big. I mean, ever since he teleported into that bottom tier 1 tower and got that kill on the support, I realized how well Earthshaker was farming. Like, he already had Arcane Boots at that point, and then he got that kill and still got out alive. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a pretty fast blink dagger for the Earthshaker. But 14-minute Arcane's Fisher.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, he's got Fisher, guys.
You know, you were saying
Dyer's
Blade Mail on
bottom
Bristol. I
tower
really want
is
to see a
under
mech. Like I
attack.
mentioned it earlier on. Either mech or Crimson Guard with the chainmail, but what does Blade Mail do for you?
No, I would agree way more with a mech.
EGM steals webs. He's fine here. He dodges the spawn spiderlings with the invis.
Wow, legit. And now, he gets caught by the duel too, so this is going to be the Broodmother going down. He may survive through the duel at the very least, doesn't give up that extra damage, but still is down for 45 seconds. 10 to 10, 15 minutes in. Let's take a look at some of the stats here. We got the BBC slightly ahead in net worth and a decent amount of experience as well. As far as the net worth of individual heroes, we mainly have the Templar Assassin, who is way out in front of everybody. But thanks to a lot of early towers going down, PyCat is beginning to catch up. That's only because they do have a 3-tower advantage.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Solid Lash Bloodstone. What do you do to deal with this? Because he's going to be hard to kill, but he's also just going to be able to pump out so much raw damage.
Roshan has
like
fallen to the Dyer.
If BBC end up losing this game 1, they can chalk it down to just not quite executing the correct maneuvers, the correct trade-offs in these situations, right? When they're doing Roshan, the fact that all these towers are still up is really concerning for me. Like, you can't afford to, in this current meta, you can't afford to just let all the towers stay up and let the enemy have a good, 5,000 net worth lead because you lost all your tier 1s and tier 2s and you haven't claimed a single one.
A lot of that has been down to the Radiant supports, though. They've been seeing Loda on that bot lane and thinking, oh, look, a free kill, another free kill, another free, and they've been just gunning for Loda over and over again, but he's not a kill that matters in the grand scheme of things, whereas PyCat's been going for towers across the map. Legion Commander's been farming up decently well, 2,000 gold up on that Blink Dagger.
Do you think the Broodmother should still be staying at this bottom lane? Like, when I'm talking about taking towers, and it's so surprising, but we have a Broodmother in this game, and she has yet to take a tower. Do you think it's wise to still stay in this bottom lane, considering how much attention is being put to shutting her down? Look at this right here. They're ganking up the Ancient stack that Pedrino was trying to farm up here and gets demolished by the combined forces of EGM and PyCat.
Where else does he go, though? Because
I mean, he could just make a complete lane swap, right, and go up to the top lane.
But then you're still going to have Alliance TPing to the tier 1 and then counter pushing onto it. Like, they're going to be running down that Brood lane whenever possible.
That's true, but the difference between bottom and top for me would be you're freeing up your own jungle.
Yeah.
At that point, right? You're invading the enemy jungle when you go away from the lane and try and farm up some neutrals. And you're freeing up your own jungle. So they're committing so many more heroes to the top part of the map, freeing up the bottom part for your heroes to farm up your jungle, as well as maybe going for that bottom tier 1 tower, which I would say is an easier tower to claim as opposed to the safe lane tower.
Yeah, completely agree. Also, Roshan. Pretty big deal down on that bot lane.
For sure. Especially when you have minus armor heroes, which both sides have.
TA is going straight into the Desolator. Actually has it completed now.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking BKB, something like that, but she just wants to insta-give someone.
With no mobility whatsoever, too. They're going to be able to lock down Neequa. Nicely played. The Chen heal isn't nearly enough to be able to save that Legion Commander, so that smoke up is good, and Padrino is going to start putting pressure on mid lane, though there are counters everywhere for him, man. I mean, the Alliance team has put so much effort into trying to shut him down. In fact, you could see Lightning Bolt goes off. He doesn't realize it. He ran back into a counter there, and Pycat, with his wealth of AoE, was able to nuke him down pretty quickly.
Every time I see the blue, look, is under attack. He's setting up on this lane. Let's go kill him again. Do not give that Brood Mother any room to split push or make space.
Pycat caught out and kind of Fisher blocked there. He's going to run to the right side. They don't have too many of the Radiant heroes to be able to catch up to him. Gets really low here, and the Timbersaw's not actually going to be going for him. Instead, tries to bounce over to Ake. He's got plenty of health, but running low on mana. And Pycat actually surviving that. The mech goes off from Loda. Oh, big Echo Slam! Ake goes down. EGM almost taken out with the duel. Will save him. They'll turn it around, get that Earthshaker kill, but now we have the Templar Assassin, who hits really, really hard, but she's facing him up. Oh no, EGM in the back! He almost died to that one shot, but Jesus. The Templar Assassin, I expected BKB out of that Mithril Hammer solely because the Leshrac takes a dump on you every single time you show up in these team fights. But the straight Desolator is a very risky maneuver and made so much more glass cannon-y by the fact that refraction just doesn't exist.
Click on Loda. How much gold does Loda have right now?
So what is he building?
I don't know.
What is he going for?
Ake saved up 1,800 and then went for the mech, and he finished that off.
Right.
Bristleback. What?
Radiance versus Bristleback.
Seriously.
Let's go.
Seriously.
More damage over time.
That's what I'm wondering as well, because it's Loda. You know, he's an old school Dota 1 player. You've got to remember the Radiance Bristle. Usually you go Vanguard Hood first, but you never know.
Hey, I mean, it deals with the Brood Mother. It goes through the refraction faster. I mean, it would be kind of crazy, but
kind of crazy.
I mean, you got Chen. You got that extra bit. Like the biggest problem for me is always Bristleback. Like he wants some sort of stat.
AC. He's going AC.
Okay, just straight up AC. Where
he put the chainmail on the courier, and he bought a plate mail, and he's sending it to the secret shop.
Why didn't he buy the recipe?
Because he doesn't. He's going to buy Hyperstone, and then he needs like 500, 600.
Yeah, he wants both the big ticket items in his inventory right now. I just figured like, you just farm up one wave, and you pretty much have the full AC, right? But he wants the items right now.
Like 6 minutes ago, he had chainmail treads, and now he's got a full AC completed.
Jesus.
These towers, kills, everything.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been involved, but he's always been nearby. He's sort of been watching over the rest of his team like, good job, guys. Thanks for the AoE gold.
And
I'll
considering how much pressure they put on Loda, he's always survived, right? He's died twice, but considering the number of times they tried to gank him up, or even just the Brood Mother harassing him, he's just been able to survive through most of the attention he was given.
Yeah.
I can't help but feeling like early towers, like you're not using this Desolator to push down.
Radiant's
like you have the Desolator, you shouldn't be looking for
attack.
these fights because again, Leshrac
Radiant
is going to destroy you.
Are fortified.
You've got that minus
they
armor.
must have seen
let's
dark
take some
clouds
towers.
on the
If
horizon.
they're here in the bottom lane, you better be speed
Radiant's
pushing middle.
bottom tower
is
under attack.
It's like halfway between
the
TA builds. It's
poor
really
top
confusing.
tower. You don't need to be amazing to point out that Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
You don't have the blink to jump on
but it
someone
doesn't
and then just kill them outright. So you can't blink on the Lesh or the Rubik.
Midas Deso has never been purchased in 6.83. 11 other times all time. I can't help but feeling like those 11 other times is when you're like so far ahead. You're like, good God, guys. We've won the game already. I might as well get Desolator so I can take down these towers faster so we can end the game sooner.
Or if you have someone like a Tidehunter who can blink ravage people and then you just walk into fights because
True.
Right now they rely on the Earthshaker or Venge Swap. So Avenge swaps someone into the TA, or Earthshaker blinks forward, Echo Slams, fishes them, and then TA walks in. Otherwise, the TA gets halfway into the team fight and gets destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope he buys a BKB.
Who's teleporting? That's Legion Commander. So Legion Commander first does have the instant blink, so even if he needs to like buy himself a little bit of time. Well, actually, there's the Timber Saw.
And the ES.
Yeah. So this could.
No matter where the Legion blinks, I'm pretty sure she's caught.
Yeah.
Because there's Venge Swap, Timber Chain, Chakram, Fisher, Blink, Echo Slam, there's all sorts of stuff to displace her.
I'm pretty sure there's 9 out of 11 of the games ended before 35 minutes, which is like any game that ends before 35 minutes is either an
8-6 Cap just revealed on stream, guys.
Oh no! Ice Frog, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leak it like that. Hey, BKB's almost done for Broodmother. I'm not sure what that does for you, but it's there. I mean, when you
Stats on BKB
Yeah,
first item Broodmother, please.
if Broodmother is ever in the bottom half of net worth, I think you've automatically lost the game. Like, even if your team wins the game somehow, I think, like, if you're playing a pub or even, like, that Dota stats, it just automatically puts a loss on your profile specifically, whoever's playing the Broodmother. Because that just can't happen, right? A Broodmother who's behind net worth is really, really useless. You are a glorified support at that point.
And the Broodmother has not taken any towers on her own. Hasn't got any solo experience really because the two supports that have been there for the whole time.
The fourth pick Broodmother did nothing for them here. So I actually don't put it on Padrino specifically.
Like, Alliance have done well to counteract what the Broodmother has meant to be doing.
For sure.
Especially with Arcade Chen. Like, him and EGM have made the perfect smoke.
25% win rate. Legit swap out, and whoa, Timbersaw's actually, he's dueled up.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
And will be able to get out successfully, so BBC do manage to dodge that gank. While putting some pressure on that bottom
cover your eyes.
Go,
Dyer's bottom tower is taking storm doors in place.
Glyph, though.
Dyer's structures are fortified.
Even if they take that one tower, it'll reset the glyph, and just makes all those other towers so much harder to take at this point.
Padrino not even safe to farm his own jungle.
Padrino needs to, like, go, I don't know, like, backdoor that tier 1 tower. That's what I say.
He needs to get webs down. Like, where are all his webs? He's got a bunch mid.
I think he's rotated into middle, so he's just kind of like, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's got 5 just in the middle jungle area.
Not great.
Whoa, Loda gonna be caught out here. Good combination, but no Echo Slam. As it's stopped by the duel, we do have at least the Templar Assassin who will ensure the kill on the Bristleback. Niqua actually dropping quite low, as he doesn't have much armor on his own. He actually drops into the negative marker here. Timbersaw trying to get jump. Ooh, blink away. Niqua manages to get out. Now EGM throwing the Chakram onto Levi, making sure that there's not that much extra pursuit. Now Pycat just turning as the Templar Assassin gets a bit too close.
Just dead?
I think so. I mean, he's got to get some serious help here. Pycat takes a small amount of damage, slowed down by the Chakram, and maybe that'll be good enough. Actually helping out the burst damage, and they get him. No, the deny. He denied himself into Spiderlings. That was very cute of him.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, he gives life to nature. He just kills himself so baby Spiderlings can live.
If only there was some way for EGM to suddenly get a burst of mana and rejoin that. Could have been a quick and easy 3-0.
Oh, yeah. That stolen Chakram was doing quite a bit of work for them. So, hey, with that fight, they do finish up the Broodmother BKB. And, yes.
Then Brood can go and fight people?
The Broodmother voice is super difficult to do. It's like high-pitched and gravelly and warbly at the same time.
Who's Phoenix?
There's no Phoenix in this game, all right? I'm not just... Zoe is the one who started.
I know, because that was one of the first things...
Yeah. Do the Phoenix. Do the Phoenix.
Pretty sure it was like the second...
I'm not your monkey, all right? I don't just... I'm not here to dance for your amusement and do imitations all the time.
It's like the second day I was here. She
Truant Brown.
Censure. Oh, the days of in-house league.
Yeah.
In Dota 1, what in-house leagues did you play? Or did you not?
No, I played in Dota Cash. I played there's so many, like something HL.
Well, there was EEDL, there was DP, there was DGL.
No, I played a DPL. Played Dota Cash.
Did you play on RGC?
Way back there was a Throne League. I don't think THL really sounds right. That one didn't last very long. That was like way back. Way back.
Way back.
But at a certain point I stopped playing in leagues and I just scrimmed. And that's the only competitive deal that I did for Dota.
They've like grown up and got jobs and don't play anymore. They come back and play. And I'm like 2,000 MMR above them. It feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure, they may have the wife and the kids and the job, but look at Yapso jumping in, Echo Slam on 3. He tries to get off more, but EGM stops it, still gets off the Fisher, does die. Nigua surrounded by all these heroes, is going to be going down. Matsukari gets swapped and jumps over to the trees.
Here
Nicely
comes
played.
Pycat, though.
Loda is getting off a lot of damage, and as you said, Pycat has surrounded them. They're trapped inside the pit. Padrino's BKB runs out, gets the stun, takes out the Broodmother. Now Pycat, 1 versus 2, as he tries to chase. Oh no, Timbersaw! He missed the chain. Critical mistake there. Turns around, tries to do what damage he can to Pycat. He's low on mana, but he does have that Bloodstone. Loda with the buyback is going to come back and finish off Roshan here. As good God, that was...
What even happened there?
That was crazy. I mean, that was a big time Echo Slam, but it goes to show like Alliance are just too big.
Yes.
Like the fact that Pycat just came in like 1 versus 4 and got 2 kills. Almost a third.
They didn't even have Hand of... Oh, did they have Hand of God there?
No, they didn't.
It's still on cooldown.
Yeah. They didn't have that. That was super close. So I think if the Fisher, if the initial Fisher had been able to get off right after the Echo Slam, EGM was really good at being able to get off that telekinesis on him. If they had chained that Fisher up with everything else, you know, you just keep everyone stunned for basically like 6 seconds, then I think that would have been like almost a complete wipe.
Attack.
But because of the fact that small play where the Fisher was a bit delayed, it actually gave Alliance a fighting chance because they were so far ahead. And otherwise right now, I don't think that BBC, without that kind of initiation, they can't win a
EGM up
fight.
on top lane.
Yeah, jump in. They already have the Boots of Travel going, but the Earthshaker decides against it. Maybe for the best. You can see Pycat as well as Ake were kind of in the vicinity there.
Danger, danger.
Well, BKB is finally almost done for the Templar Assassin. Hey, at least the upside of getting a late BKB is that you have a rather late 10-second charge, right? Right?
Yeah.
Silver lining, Durka.
I guess it's a silver lining.
Silver lining.
But
Time
Edict still goes
is
through,
running
doesn't
out
it?
for Dire's middle tower.
Physical damage.
Yep. Oh, duel. They don't really have anything else. So it looks like Padrino, especially since he got off the lifesteal beforehand, now he's going to continue to
Dire's
try and
middle
fight
tower
Decoy here, but
is
he's
under
still
attack.
caught out. Swap goes down. Run, Padrino, run! Levi is definitely going down here. Padrino is going to be chased out by Loda. He falls, and now Timbersaw is now going to make a TP out successfully. But in the end, Alliance get 2 kills, and now on their way to march into a Tier 2 tower.
And how do you plan to stop this now? Because your only real rebuttal is Earthshaker getting another massive Echo Slam. Alliance, hopefully, for them anyway, will look to try and counteract that, maybe split push down bot and mid at the same time to try and breach high ground. I mean, you could even have Pycat just sitting mid once his Edict comes off cooldown.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And Pycat, the graceful rainbow pony that he is, will be able to
Beset
take
on
that Tier
all
2 tower, no
sides.
problem.
Radiant's
Push into
bottom
the bottom
tower
lane at the
is
same
under
time.
attack. Dire's
the
top
rest of
tower
Alliance,
is
Loda.
under attack.
On the front lines there with that Assault Cuirass can take down towers
Radiant's
pretty
middle
quickly.
tower is under
But how
attack.
do you address Pycat at the same time? It's like, okay, 2 really tanky heroes, we've got to focus one, but which one?
Yeah, it's not even like with that, now that BBC are back up to full 5, I don't feel like Alliance are really that more threatened than they were before when it comes to pushing uphill. It's not like the Broodmother, like, oh god, the Broodmother's back, guys. Like, that guy's not really a team fight hero, right? He's a split pusher. He forced a lot of attention into one side of the map. He does those sort of things, but he doesn't actually provide very much team fight potential.
And with the item build he's gone, he's not even a solo killer, because usually coupled up with the split pushing, he goes and solo kills supports. But right now, he doesn't fulfill any of the natural roles Broodmother's skill set allows for. It's a rough situation for him. Like, what kind of items do you expect him to go next? On the Broodmother, BKB into...
I don't know. I mean...
Still go Necro?
You can't... Yeah, I mean, I guess Necro, you sure as hell can't go Orchid. That's a complete impossibility.
Or do you start building into actual carry items like Butterfly, Manta style? What are you looking for?
Yasha into a Basher.
Yasha, Abyssal.
Just get all the damage items right now, and maybe you'll be good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Maybe even a Halberd, I don't know.
All right, well, we do have a blade mail finished up by Nikwa, so that's going to make him super powerful
Dire's middle tower
against
is under
the Legion
attack.
Commander. And
I
they get
can't
to deny
believe what
middle
I'm
tower
seeing.
as well.
Look at that. Dire's middle tower has
So
been
things
denied.
are just kind of going from bad to worse for BBC right now. Let's see, well, Bristleback, I'm a bit surprised. Glota had a lot of gold on him. I thought he was going to be going straight for a heart, because he was quite close to finishing up a Reaver, but going back for what, the Halberd?
BKB?
Oh yeah, BKB.
Timbersaw is still really annoying to deal with, because I was thinking Halberd as well, or Sanjin Yasha possibly, but 30 minutes into the game...
Too late for SNY for sure.
I don't know.
Halberd's at least a useful late game item.
We saw that stat the other day that average SNY timing was what, 28 minutes or something into the game?
Yeah.
Or later? I can't remember what it was. It was nuts though.
Cart, pull it up.
Don't ask me.
No, Cart. You asked to be the stats man here.
But it was late.
Can't back out on me now.
Like, it was between 28 and 35. It wasn't the sort of 21-minute SNY you sort of think, yeah, that's a good timing on that item. Halberd would be decent up against the Brood and the TA, but they've both got BKBs, so I think...
Yeah, BKB I think would be better. That's from now on.
It's definitely Battle Fury PA.
Battle Fury PA, easy. Generation completely overlooked. You don't even remember. I got there eventually. I
miss Battle Fury Windrunner, you know.
I forget Durka's name all the time.
Oh.
Oh. I don't.
He doesn't.
We've been friends for too long.
He's trying to make
I was just trying to make Cart feel better, man. You could just roll along with it, could you? Intriguing. All right.
I see.
Take a look at that net worth. I mean, Alliance aren't that far ahead. It just feels like they're very far ahead. And I would say they have the better late game. It's not, like, by an amazing amount, because the Chen does drop off in the late game. But I would say Bristleback, Legion Commander, Leshrac, like, all kind of better cores than Timbersaw and Broodmother. Not to put anything down on late game Timbersaw, because that guy got some major buffs in 6.81.
Leshrac has Aghanims. On the courier, pretty much fully completed.
All right. So...
Is it just damage increase on that spell?
Yep. Yeah. That should be the only thing.
It doesn't do any, like, other magical things, like obliterate your enemies and...
I mean, you look more rainbowy, but I'm not sure if you can really consider that a tactical advantage or not. Maybe you blind your opponents a little bit.
No one has ever purchased Eye of Skadi on Brood in competitive play.
Really? Never. I don't see why not. It's a late game item. Every game's got to have a Skadi. That has never happened in the history of Dota.
God. It's happening, guys.
Siler to fall. Look when they're doing it. We just need a meme cast. A cast that is entirely filled of just like the biggest memes of casting.
You know how...
We have a Templar Assassin. The refraction. Wow.
Wow. You know how on melee units the blink forward?
Yeah, well, they are automatically hitting Loda in the background. I'm not sure. Oh, the Echo Slam. That is able to finish off EGM at least, but Loda still very much alive. Now the BKB activated on the Templar Assassin, but Nikwa is dueling him for all he's worth. The Templar Assassin swap out. The last hit, Nikwa dies. And the TA gets out. Massive carry, though, is on the run. We do have a Fisher block, trying to slow everybody down as much as possible, and Pycat needs a timeout, but wait. Auto pause.
Radiant's top tower
looks
is
like
under
the rest
attack.
of the team is gonna be able to get out just fine. And but Timbersaw.
Timber, you want to turn on this, do you? Huh?
He wants to,
Radiant
he
must
wants to
summon the
tango, man.
spirit to
He wants to
defend
tango.
the top
Okay, now you
tower.
can repause.
That was close. That was very close.
This isn't NEL.
The Templar Assassin, like if she had died there, that would have been a one fight for Alliance. But the swap and the fact that the Meld Strike went out still and hit that Legion Commander.
It made me completely forget what before that whole thing started, the Echo Slam happened. On melee units, you know that I have Skadi unique attack modifier, but it stacks with Lifesteal from Morbid Mask, because that was like a bug that happened early in Dota 2, but they just allowed it to carry on going. Incapacitating Bite, does that stack with Skadi, the slow? Because they're both technically unique attack modifiers, but Skadi's always been that really weird. Well, I don't really care.
Can its end be drawing nigh?
It's not being the same as Desolator, where Desolator's like, I override everything and you will do nothing about it.
I would say yes.
Yes, it stacks.
I would say no, it stacks. I mean, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I'm gonna say no, it stacks. That way I can get both answers right. But yeah. I don't know, man. You're asking me a mechanics question. Mechanics are so hard. There's so many, like Dota 1.
It's not
you remember things from Dota 1, and then
exactly.
Dota 2 changes, and then
with the recent changes to like damage types and everything, Valve has done a good job in simplifying basic mechanics. But it's the millions of exceptions to those basic mechanics that makes this game so difficult. The nuances of the game.
Oh, bye.
Courier,
Radiant's courier has been slain.
No, Snowl.
Snowl? Mythical servant of Celemane.
How do you say that? Do you say Snowl or Snowl?
It's an owl.
I mean, do you pronounce it Snow or do you pronounce it Owl?
I'll just say Snow Owl, actually. Like, screw your name, I'm going to call it a Snow Owl.
Snowl sounds like snout.
Snowl? But then it sounds like Noel. Noel Gallagher.
Alright, whoever created this courier is
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Obviously.
Dire's structures are fortified against all comers.
Rip Demon Edge.
So EGM is controlling Pycat now, it looks like.
Dire's bottom tower is
all he has to do
if you
really
were
is
Dire's bottom
turn on two
tower,
spells.
you would have fallen just now.
Pretty much good game.
Yeah. He just kind of like, alright, run in there, Pycat, do work. I turned on your abilities. Then he's kind of good from there. If he's legit, he sets himself up with a stun, telekinesis, then switches over the Leshrac to hit the stun. Alright, never mind. V-Doto's legit.
You can't flame him.
I can't flame him. It's too good.
But then, no matter what name of an item creator came up there, we'd be just like, you can't flame him because he's legit. There are so many really good item creators.
That's true. I don't want to flame any item creators.
Like, oh look, Anuxi
because I hope someday they'll make an item for me.
It was like, oh look, Anuxi created it. Oh, she's so good. I take back what I said. Oh, Danny Dem created it.
He's really good at drawing penises. But yes, if any item creators are listening and they want to create me an American Eagle courier.
Broodmother's making an AC. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I'm paying attention to the game, so I most definitely did that. I was clicked on the Broodmother, so I'm going to count that as saying it out loud with my mind. Yep, Zor, they want this Echo Slam to lead. Nikwa with the double chakra stands no hope of landing through that one.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Middle lane, they are going to be jumping on the Levi here.
That's BKB used by Loda, though.
Swap to save the Templar Assassin. But you're right, BKB is on cooldown.
The Dire's poor top tower. Can its end be drawing nigh?
There's no Echo Slam, there's no Venge.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with just a double chakram from the Timbersaw, who has to TP back.
I mean,
Radiant's
the way
middle
BBC are
tower
building for
is
late game
under
right
attack.
now, it actually
Radiant
makes me
structures
reevaluate
are fortified.
their strength in late game. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Maybe
Radiant's
it's possible.
middle tower has fallen.
With Loda's item progression
Not
stalling a bit after that sudden AC out of nowhere. And Chen, no Aghanims yet.
Already dropping low. They might be able to pop here. The Chakram's not quite enough burst damage, but they do still get it. A big critical comes out from the Templar Assassin. And unfortunately, the Fisher just a bit too slow as EGM is forced to back himself away. Pycat does finish up his Aghanims. That felt like just Alliance tried to push in too early. I mean, they didn't have Nikwa. They didn't have the Aghanims. Why do you try and push uphill there?
I don't know.
It's probably the factor of like having a micro Pycat, him coming back. They probably just lost track of the game and where they're at.
Well, Roshan respawned at a pretty handy time there.
It certainly did. But who's it handy for here?
Yeah.
Because we do have that. Oh no, 35 seconds still. I was about to say Echo Slam should be coming off cooldown soon, but maybe if they stall this up enough, they'll have Echo Slam good to go.
Okay, keep your army spread. Don't let the Earthshaker have a perfect target. It's like a bullseye. Whenever you see the creeps from Chen anywhere near a hero, it's just a big red bullseye saying, here you go, Earthshaker. This is where you want to land. That's where the Echo Slam belongs.
All right. This is mega zoom out mode. Like everyone's surrounding the Roshan pit and from different angles.
Roche?
So at least BBC are... Yeah, Roche is tweaking.
Oh, it's the Fisher. I couldn't see the Fisher in the web.
Yeah. Oh, there goes... oh, EGM! Oh, so close. He lived with like a sliver of HP there. Now Chen's going to lose some creeps too. Loses 3 of them, and Roshan is going to go away into Templar
has
Assassin.
fallen to radiant treachery.
Fadeless, and now 3,300
And they said I
gold.
was cheesy.
That TA's looking scary. Can still be caught out.
Really is.
Still be caught out by Legion Commander with duel and then the damage from Leshrac.
She's also maxed out though. Loda is going to be popping the BKB and try and lead the assault onto these bottom 2 heroes, but Templar just turns and fights. Now Loda is dropping low. Pycat from the side, Echo Slam stunned up, and they're going to be able to finish him off too. Chen heal goes off. One more hit from the Templar Assassin. Maybe that's all that's needed for step forward, and they do get him. Right side, we do have Nikwa, who pops his blade mail, trying to deal some damage back to the Timber Saw, but he withdraws his Chakra. Templar Assassin going to have to defend his allies up against Loda, and they get it too. Take down 2, 3, now moving on to Chen, who's going to be the 4th cleanup here, as only the Legion Commander, the only hero to survive here for Alliance and BBC in the last 5 minutes, have gone on a tear.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I say big gold advantage. They never had that big of a
Cover
gold
your
advantage.
eyes.
3,000 gold,
Dire's bottom tower is taking a
But that's a
drubbing.
4,500 gold
Dire's
swing
structures
and a
are just
7,500
magnificently
XP swing for
fortified.
BBC, taking almost a full team-wide.
Dire's bottom is under attack.
Yeah, and it gets worse once towers start falling too, right? It's not just the gold from the team fight.
And then
now.
when Nikwa dies...
Oh no, he duels, and that's actually going to give damage to the Broodmother. Now they're going to be able to finish off both. Pycat just wipes both those heroes out. Levi is trying to get close here for a potential swap, but nothing doing.
If TA had Blink there, that would probably be a kill on Pycat again. He's got the suicide from Bloodstone, but
Dire's
still,
bottom
losing
tower
Pycat there
is
not
under
what
attack.
you want to happen in his Alliance.
Yeah, he's really trying to defend this tier 2. At the top, at the same time, we do have an interesting maneuver here.
Dire's
Timbersaw
bottom
didn't join
tower
the rest
is
of his
under
team in
attack.
that bottom lane. Instead, he went up to the top lane and tried to push that in as fast as humanly possible.
Blessings.
Oh, cover your
27,
eyes.
25,
Dire's
40
bottom
minutes in,
tower
and this
is
game
taking a
has
drubbing.
just become quite even, as now we're going to see our Timbersaw caught out. Pycat may not have the burst damage anymore. Sure enough,
They've got no
teleport out.
stuns.
And EGM, unfortunately, had no stuns he could steal. So once they use that telekinesis,
Dire's
that's
bottom
kinda
tower is under attack.
Telekinesis and Split Earth, if they're used straight off the bat just to lock him down, to stop him from using Timber Chain to get away, what? You've got nothing left?
Oh, cover your eyes.
Like, does
Dire's
Loda
bottom tower is
consider
taking a
going into
drubbing.
Basher and Abyssal now? Because at this moment in time, when TA turns on that BKB, there's nothing stopping her.
Right.
You try and blink and duel and nuke her down, but she's still dishing out a lot of damage.
Boots of travel for the Templar Assassin, who, what, Butterfly is your last item? Or do you go more raw damage? Is BKB the better option here? Because BKB will give you bigger crits, right? So,
MKB?
or sorry, MKB, yes.
I was
That's definitely what I meant.
halfway through that, I thought, is he still talking about the TA? Please, I didn't black out there. He is. Oh my god. But yeah, MKB. Potentially, I mentioned Butterfly like 20 minutes ago, or 15 minutes ago, thinking, well, who is she going to block? Like, what is that evasion for? The bristleback? Not really worth it too much, though. I think if you just go raw damage here, you could maybe even look at selling Desolator and going into lifesteal.
Loda. He doesn't realize it, but his like small little attempt to contest the Templar Assassin was a big old trap. They had two other heroes sitting on the side. Now the trap does slow down some of the retreating heroes here. Nequa is going to turn onto the Timbersaw, but is this their best option to go for here? Timbersaw is tanky. Echo Slam goes down, wipes out at least the Legion Commander. Pycat's up next. His Alliance are falling. Gets off the Bloodstone. Suicide at the very least. EGM was gunning for trying to go for that Earthshaker, but no way, no how. Now Ake, last one alive, and will survive.
And Broodmother gets to do what she's wanted to do 40 minutes until she finally gets a tower.
Finally claiming a tower for
dream
himself.
is real.
Yep, gets the tier 2, now gunning for the tier 3. Easy
Dire's
pick
bottom
up.
tower has fallen. We all, astute observers like myself, will note that Dire's bottom barracks have fallen.
They're obviously at a huge disadvantage right now, but...
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see a game go this way because Pycat getting DDoSed or losing internet connection, whatever it may be.
There's always going to be those people who are like, oh, why don't they talk about that? Like, there's nothing to talk about.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah. It just takes away from the game.
You can't analyze it. You can't. You know, there's nothing to actually bring to light. It just happened.
Oh, there's that basher for the Broodmother. So we now have some potential damage for a Broodmother. Maybe she can take on someone 1v1 sometime soon. And now the only thing that BBC have to do is just wait out Roshan. Right? Like 4 minutes time, they just control as much of the map as possible. Try and limit Alliance's options when it comes to farming.
I still think top tier 2 is pretty important. So you could at least have the Broodmother on that top lane. Because right now, bot lane... finish off the ranged racks, but then what? You want to start prepping on top lane to take down tier 3 and racks at top.
That Aghanims is a big pickup for Earthshaker. Like, I think Aghanims for Earthshaker kind of needs a buff because right now it's really strong versus illusion heroes, but other than that, I actually don't think it's that viable. But considering that Yapzor has
running out for Dire's middle tower,
gotten at least 3 heroes in his Echo Slams, this Aghanim buff, this Aghanims buff that he just got is actually much bigger because of that. Like, you don't really normally see this many big-time Echo Slams up against top-tier teams.
Yeah, quite a lot of the time, Echo Slam's used on, like, one hero in a creep wave. But now he's catching 3 or 4 every single time.
It's ridiculous the amount of times he's been able to pick him up. 2.1% of his games.
So I guess quite often you go Blink Force and then that's it. Farm priority goes to someone else, like the Vengeful Spirit, but...
Yeah. If you actually, like, break down the math of Echo Slam, like, Veil of Discord will give you, like, just as much damage.
More.
If not more, depending on how many heroes you get in there, and it's way cheaper.
Yeah, it's kind of the same as Sand King.
Yeah, very similar to Sand King.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Make sure he doesn't get caught out here. BBC not too anxious looking for a fight, it seems. Padrino's just been kind of AFK in this one spot, bouncing between the middle lane and then occasionally hopping over to the bottom lane as well. Just keeping those 2 lanes in control that allows the rest of his team to 4-man everywhere they go while still holding map control. Now Loda is going to be targeted here. If they get the Fissure and they can kind of surround him, sure enough.
No buyback.
Oh, Loda down for 90 seconds, and now they're going to lose even more here. Ake kind of caught out, is going to be going down as well. Pycat tries to stop him, but the BKB from the Broodmother is enough. Swap onto Pycat. If they lose Pycat too, this game is pretty much over. We have the duel farther down. Templar Assassin does fall at the very least. The Blade Mail doing some good work there as the BKB runs out, but we still have Nequa, who is eliminated by the double chakram of the Timbersaw.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And sure enough, Alliance will call GG. 46 minutes in, 35-26.
Dire's bottom barracks have fallen, and the storm of battle ends in the calm of a radiant
very
victory.
Much unexpected win in game number 1. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, Durka.
Especially when 25-30 minutes in, you know, Alliance were looking to just walk high ground and end the game.